Coming up on Network Africa. Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta says the siege is over in the Dusit D2 complex and all the attackers killed. Police in Zimbabwe arrest popular activist pastor Ivan Mawarire as price protest entered third day. And hundreds of protesters turned out to demonstrate against President Omar al-Bashir's rule in a densely populated neighborhood of the Sudanese capital, Khartoum. Hello and welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Teniola Shoboale. We begin in Kenya, where citizens are still reeling from Tuesday's deadly attack. The Red Cross says at least 24 people have been killed after al-Shabaab gunmen stormed a hotel complex in Nairobi. President Uhuru Kenyatta announced this morning that the siege was over and all the attackers have been killed.
It's the morning after a violent attack in Kenya. Nairobi residents woke to trapped workers in the hotel after the siege. Blasts and shots had punctuated the night, undercutting assurances from the Interior Minister late on Tuesday that the scene had been secured and complicating the rescue of scores of people still trapped.
It sounded like the way a tire would burst, but like 10 of them, 10 tires bursting at the same time, so it was so loud. Yeah, and then there was a lot of confusion. Of course, people were trying to run towards the gate, but then I saw everyone who was running towards the gate was coming back from the gate, now heading to this other opposite direction. Yeah, so from where I was, we just closed the doors, and then gunshots were just being spread all over. From the top, I think they went to the top floor, and then they started spraying bullets.
It's quite a painful way to begin the year. And we're really feeling very sorry for those who've been affected, and trusting God that God will give their families some peace of mind, and also those who are already perhaps recuperating from various hospitals, they'll have a chance to get that quick recovery for them to regain their normal lives.
President Uhuru Kenyatta announced this morning that the security operation at the hotel is over and all the attackers have been eliminated. The Red Cross says at least 24 people have been killed as opposed to the 14 people announced by the president. Over 700 others had been safely evacuated. Morgue staff say 11 Kenyans, an American and a Briton were among the casualties.
As Commander-in-Chief, I want to commend the quick and effective response by all our fighting teams for neutralizing all the terrorists involved in the attacks. We have dealt with the threat decisively and shown our enemies and the world that we as a country are ready to deal with any threat to our nation. I also take this opportunity to commend the civilians who looked after one another. For every act of evil that led to injury yesterday, there were dozens of acts of compassion, overflowing patriotism, and individual courage. Over 700 civilians were evacuated to safety from the compound since the start of the attack through the early hours of this morning.
This is the moment when 4 al-Shabaab militants stormed the Dusit D2 complex. Security camera footage showed the heavily armed men walking in and opening fire. There had been reports they had been seen visiting the compound in recent days. Al-Shabaab is a militant Islamist group that opposes the Somali government, but has also carried out attacks throughout East Africa. Kenya is a base for hundreds of diplomats, aid workers, businessmen, and others operating around the region. And according to Complex's website, it is home to offices of international companies. In September 2013, Al-Shabaab gunmen entered the Westgate shopping mall in Nairobi and targeted shoppers.
Joining us now is a Kenyan journalist, Cyrus Ombati, who is in Nairobi and was at the scene of the attack yesterday. Hello, Cyrus. First thing first, I can't imagine how you're feeling, but how are you holding up?
Oh, we're fine. We're managing the situation. Not calm.
Okay, so what more can you tell us about the attack yesterday?
So far, the situation is under control. The security agents who are on the ground, they say they have secured the hotel, the complex, the complex. They managed to kill all the 5 terrorists who were involved in the attack. And now they are pacifying the entire complex to see whether there are more explosives which are remaining for detonation.
Bear in mind that we had the Westgate attack in 2013. What did the security forces do differently this time?
Well, as compared to the Westgate attack in 2013, the response which was seen yesterday was swift. They were more organized. There was no lapse between the security agents which were involved in the whole operation. And that's why I believe they managed to quell or to stop much or more attack or killings. There could have been more deaths had there been a kind of confusion which we experienced in 2013. Because you see the number of the people who were killed this time around it's smaller as compared to the 67 which were killed in 2013.
Okay, so it's the day after the deadly attack. Please tell us, what is the mood like in the country now?
Well, there's a sense of a kind of a unity among many Kenyans because this is not the first time they experienced such kind of attack. They had a similar attack in 2013.
Yeah.
We had a similar attack. Not only it actually affected the Kenyan soldiers who are now in Somalia, where we lost almost 200 soldiers, Kenyan soldiers who are involved in the operation in Somalia. So Kenyans are kind of now united. They're saying they're unboard. They are united, trying to say that terrorists cannot move us. So that's the sense. Even in social media, all over you go around, that's the trend you hear.
Cyrus, if you could just clarify the actual number of lives lost. The president says 14. The Red Cross says 24. What's the actual number?
Well, you see now we have to go with the state. What the state says. Red Cross could be saying that they collected 24 bodies, but you see the government saying they have 14. I believe the government wants to manage the situation. They want to show confidence among Kenyans and investors. They want to show there were no much deaths as thought earlier on. I believe it's an issue of managing the crisis, the situation, but then in the wrong way.
I believe you had a chance to speak to some survivors, especially those who were trapped. How are they coping?
Well, most of them, they are saying they were hiding under the tables, under the seats, in toilets. What saved many, I believe, what they are saying is the reason that when they heard the first or second explosion and the gunfire, they locked their doors. They locked the doors where they were. This now stopped the terrorists from coming to, or rather pursuing them to the rooms they were hiding. Had they left the doors open, because you see the complex it has a hotel and several other office blocks, around 4 or 5 office blocks. And you see the number of the people who are there, 700. That's a huge number. And I believe the terrorists themselves were ready for more deaths because of the number of magazines which were recovered from them. Each of the terrorists had almost 6 or 7 magazines of AK-47 rifles.
Kenyan journalist Cyrus Ombati, thank you for joining us on Network Africa and giving us more insight on that story. And I am glad you're safe.